Thank you, everybody, or everybody who will join, everybody who watches this on replay. Thank you so much. I am here with the lovely Eden, and I'm sure Theoden will eventually make an
He
appearance.
will. He's in
Yes.
here. He's napping right now, but he's in here.
Wonderful.
So
I'm sure he'll show up eventually. But we got the gooseberry crunch right here. But I just wanted to say, just to start off, guys, because it's very important to read books and educate yourself. So I just have some recommended reading for those of you out there. Put down the BF Skinner and pick up the 21 Laws of Leadership.
Hey.
How to Argue and Win Every Time.
That's a good one.
Instincts of the Herd in Peace and War. What you want to talk about psychology, the herd mentality, what groups of people with a hive mind, what it's like in times of peace, but also times of war. And speaking of war, you can't live your life, especially as a man, without reading The Art of War.
Here we go.
And that also, this is a very controversial book, The 48 Laws of Power.
Ooh. Wow.
Absolutely recommended reading.
These are some interesting choices. I thought you didn't read though, Kevin.
No, right? I don't read, but I'm actually, I'm illiterate. I don't know how to read.
Okay. Then it all makes sense.
Because I know Dr. Robbie Butthurt Hynes is going to see it. So I'm just giving him some suggestions, some things that could better his leadership skills, his ability to be a good human being. And it will make him, it'll make him better with dogs. So what's up, Delta? Also, obedience. The video I did talking about why I don't believe emotions dictate behavior. I mentioned this book, Obedience to Authority. It goes over the Milgram experiment, the famous Milgram experiment back in the 60s. Fascinating. It's one of the best books I've ever read.
Never read that. I'll have to read that.
You won't be able to put it down. It's fascinating.
Yeah, I'll have to check one out.
This is another one. Trust us, we're the experts.
And
so, yes. So this is one thing I was going to say too for all the science-minded individuals. Science never seeks to profess absolute truths about the world. That's what religion does. And so if you are using science to try to profess absolute truths about the world, you are engaging in scientism. You are trying to use science as a religion. This is absolute for everybody. I don't care, man, woman, everybody. This is a mandatory propaganda by Edward Bernays. He also wrote. Yeah, he wrote
me that book.
Yes, yes, absolutely, and it's very short. Absolutely must read. He also wrote a book called Manufacturing Public Consent.
Okay, and I've heard of that one too.
Yeah, this might be one that Robert is familiar with, but Rules for Radicals by Saul Alinsky. This book was an eye-opener for me because this is really how the opposition thinks, how radicals like Robert think, how they engage with the world, how they manipulate people, how they everything is some kind of move, angle, way to position themselves, but it's to serve some agenda they have. It's not really for the benefit of the people they engage with, the group, for the benefit of the public. It's for the benefit of themselves. Yeah. So that's all I had anyway. Just wanted to throw some. What's that?
Yeah, you can't really blame him for it though. I mean, it's not his choice that he's doing.
Right, exactly, right. We don't have free will, Eden. We don't have free will. You don't have free will to be here. I don't have free will to be here. Goose definitely doesn't have free will to be here. I mean, she has no choice. But but thank you everybody for joining. I'm going to let Eden take it away. Eden, if you just want to introduce yourself, give us some history, because you also work with dogs and the public as well. So if you want to talk about your experience with that, but also your experience as a pit bull owner who's looking for help navigating this dumpster fire of a community, and what it's been like for you, just go ahead and take it away, and I'll let you just you share whatever you want. There's no restrictions here.
Okay, well, thank you, Kevin, and thank you for the book recommendations. I'm gonna have to read some of those I've read, but there are a couple I haven't heard of. So, but yeah, For me, I've worked with dogs in a professional capacity for a few years, but mainly I've worked as a dog groomer, and I worked at like a dog boarding facility where they did like a puppy school and things like that. So I was trained on how to train dogs for very basic like obedience and socialization classes, the basic stuff. I have worked with dogs that have had like different fear cases and aggression cases before, but it was in a capacity where I was a dog handler, not necessarily training those really difficult dogs. So,
Yeah.
my dog is the first dog I've ever had that has had like a more difficult case, I would say.
Okay.
And I'm not qualified by any means to know exactly what to do or how to fix his issues because they started after I'd already had him for quite a while. So
Okay.
so yeah, the first thing with my dog is that he is not a well-bred or like a thoroughbred or a purebred dog. He was bred in somebody's backyard. He was bred for the purpose of maybe fighting, but any potential buyers that the seller wanted to take him didn't want to pay for him because of his coloring. They wanted a different color. So it's as simple
Sure.
as that. So yeah, so the seller could not get anybody to buy him. So they were giving puppies to the shelter, doing whatever they could to get rid of these puppies.
Mm.
So I got him for free, and he was only 3 weeks old, which is far too young to be taken away from his mother and his siblings. But the alternative would have been him being dumped somewhere. So yeah, so I took him in, and I bottle fed him, and um he got really healthy and really strong. He's a very healthy dog. And at about 7 months old, he was staying over at a house, a family friend and a family member's house. And he was he was a very good dog, but he was a little more hyper and rowdy as puppies are.
Hmm.
And there were a couple of older dogs at the house, a 5-year-old German Shepherd in particular, that didn't like his rowdiness and his craziness. And the German Shepherd was very policing of his play, and he ended up attacking my dog when he was a puppy. And I wasn't there for that particular attack, but it was very bad. Not a great situation. And then about a month later, I think he was attacked again, but this was while we were out on a walk. And just a random stray dog is who attacked him.
Okay.
So, both instances he was hurt pretty badly.
Yeah.
He had lots of puncture marks. Ever since that happened, I've seen him develop a level of reactivity that I don't have any experience with. I've never
Yeah.
had a dog that is quite as reactive as he is. And so, um, after that first attack at 7 months, I began looking into training courses that I could take to kind of give my dog some more stability and teach him how to not be so reactive. And I don't know if there's any purpose in mentioning you know who they are, but
I know they
yeah,
are. That's totally up to you.
okay,
That's your decision. I'm not gonna make you say any. You now. You don't have to name names. If you want to say anything, maybe you just give a brief description of what type of courses they were.
okay,
Maybe.
got
You don't
it.
have to name names though.
Sure, sure. So they're both very YouTube famous. I'll say that. They're two YouTube channels that I'm sure if you know anything about dogs or if you're in the dog world whatsoever, you'll know these two channels. Very high up there, very popular, lots of subscribers. And then I also consulted with two local trainers as well. So the two local trainers wouldn't have anything to do with him because he
Okay.
was showing signs of aggression and he was a pit bull. That's the only reason. So,
Crazy.
yeah, so that was when I lived elsewhere. I lived in a different state at that time. I now live in Texas. And I have contacted a local trainer in Texas, but the way that they do things is also not super beneficial for me because they only do a board and train,
Of
which
course.
I don't necessarily hate the idea of that, but I feel like my dog wouldn't really be learning from me and,
Right.
getting to understand me any better. So that's why I
Yeah.
haven't done something like that. But as far as the two big popular trainers are concerned, I purchased courses from them. Pretty expensive, pretty pricey. I did a consult call with one of them, and the consult call was completely fruitless. I ended up telling the trainer Theoden's story. Theoden is my dog.
Mm,
I told the trainer his story, everything that had happened, like a lot about his behavior. And the trainer didn't give me a single piece of advice because he wasn't liable to. The consult
mm.
call had nothing to do with consultation.
Was
He
that one-on-one, by the way, or was that a group thing? Was that like a
So the
I don't
first
remember.
one, yeah, the first consult call with one of those bigger YouTube channel dog trainers. So it's not the main face of the YouTube channel. It's an employee. And
Oh,
so,
okay.
yeah, so that's why I wouldn't really want to name him because he
Yeah.
was
And
very
that's okay.
nice and
That's okay.
everything,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
he's just an employee, which
Sure.
I don't have a problem with. That's fine with me. But the fact that he wasn't allowed to give me any advice, he wasn't allowed to say like um a diagnosis, which I also understand, but he couldn't give me any advice. He only gave me um like an acceptance, essentially saying, okay, well, he would be a good candidate for our 2-month training course, and
Sure.
then gave me um a price option. So you could pay in increments, which would be more expensive in the long term, but shorter term it would be cheaper, or you
Yeah.
could pay full price, which would be cheaper in the short term. And I will say this. I'm not gonna say who the trainer was or who the YouTube channel is. It's
Hmm.
again very popular, but the price for a 2-month like reactivity reduction course, it was $2,500 for that.
Great.
So
Great.
yeah, which I mean, for me, at the time I'm still a dog groomer, and that's what I was doing at the time as well. That is a lot of money for somebody who
Yeah.
works like on
I think
hourly
anybody,
rates.
like even my parents have done well for themselves, and even they would say like 2,500 bucks is just a lot of money. It's a good chunk of change for anything,
Yeah.
especially for 2 week. Like I don't know. I don't sometimes I see what people charge and I don't understand how they feel good about even charging it. Like it's too I
Mhm.
to me it's not. I don't know. It wouldn't sit right with me personally, but
Yeah. Yeah.
that's a preference. Maybe I don't know. That's a discussion for
Mhm.
a separate time. But anyway, continue. You go ahead.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. It wouldn't sit right with me either. I mean, I charge in my area, I'm the least expensive dog groomer in my zone. So, and I do that just because I feel like it's not very fair, especially in the last year with how prices have been. I don't think it's very fair to do that. But
Yeah.
anyways, that was what the charge would be, including I had to purchase a bunch of different tools from their website because
Of course.
they patented and like created an Amazon website where they have a third party make their own
Oh,
tools and things that are slightly different from what you could get at like the pet store or on Amazon.
Yeah,
So
it's smart business wise, but it's
yeah,
also, I don't know, it kind of that would put me off a little bit.
it put
Um,
me off too.
this is
Yeah.
why too, like, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but for
No,
me,
no.
like I told you, I had recently raised my prices, but what I always strive to give any client is, even though you pay this price, but I'm going to give you as much value as I possibly can. So,
Mhm,
you know, even one session, like I charge 250 a session. If there's multiple dogs, we have serious issues, it'd be 300 for an
mhm.
in-person session. But you get a written protocol, instructions, and I'm on call 24/7. You know,
Yeah,
for all of my clients, and you know that firsthand. You send me messages and we videos and we talk. So that's,
yeah.
to me though, that's like it's a package deal. And if you hire me, it's kind of like I'm your client, or I'm there for life. That's
Mhm,
like a, until you don't need me, or you don't want to. It's still professional, but I do have a lot of clients and they have become good friends where I still talk to them and I see them every now and then, and it's
mhm,
that is very rewarding for me. But um, I wouldn't, if I didn't give people their money's worth and even maybe a little more, then I don't know. I
mhm,
I wouldn't be able to sleep at night personally. I don't.
mhm.
But my policy is, if I can't help you, if I show up to somebody's house and I cannot help you, I can't get you a result, then I don't take your money. And
Yeah.
it's just that's the way I do things. But anyway, continue.
Yeah. Well, no, I really like that about you because I have been able to send you not a lot because I don't live in an area now where I can take him to a dog park.
Yeah,
So this process is going to be a little bit slow going, and we have to use whatever triggers are available to us that day.
sure. Yeah.
So yeah, but I've been sending you videos, and even just the few things that you've suggested me changing in the videos so far have helped. So that's what's
Good.
really
I'm
important
glad.
to me. Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm
Yes.
glad it's working. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, it's working. It's working well so far. But yeah, anyways, besides that and having to purchase their tools that they specifically created for this master plan and everything. The courses were only available to you after completion. So like if you they gave you like a week-long process to be able to complete um this level essentially. And
Really?
once you
Okay.
yeah, yeah, so once you had completed it, it was gone and you lost access to it.
Okay, I didn't know
So,
that. That
yeah,
is
'cause
crazy. What?
yeah, they didn't want you to be able to send other people, like,
Yeah. I
this
you
stuff,
know,
so
as big as these channels are, I do like I guess I don't necessarily understand all of the difficulties that may come with having that much attention or that many people, or because of
yeah,
course, I know one of these individuals in particular, went through a period where he was being attacked pretty badly, and I can understand from maybe his perspective, just to protect your business, why maybe, especially if there are people that are kind of out to get you, so to speak, that
mm,
you maybe would want to take measure, because you don't, when people sign up for your courses or whatever, you may not know what they're going to do with it. And so I get it from that perspective. It's unfortunate though that it ends up being a disadvantage to the client, you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the one you're talking I think I know who you're talking about, I can't say for sure, but I think the one you're referring to, his courses actually weren't like that,
Oh,
thankfully.
really? Okay.
Yeah,
Interesting. Okay.
so you could once you purchased them, they were
Every
there,
year. Okay.
for you.
Well,
Yeah,
interesting. That's okay.
free.
No, yeah, no,
So,
I thought it would have been, I thought he would have been the one that,
yeah,
yeah.
no.
So, okay. All right. Well,
It was
good.
a different one. It was a I'll just say it was a three-letter training company, I'll say that.
Okay.
I don't
I
know
got
if a bunch of people know it, but they are very popular on YouTube, so I'll just say that.
you. Okay.
But
Sure.
anyways, so, I could not afford that, so I went with a different, again, very famous YouTube trainer that I bought his courses from. And, his stuff, the more intensive that it got, the more expensive that it was. And by the time, so my philosophy with my dog is that it took him being attacked twice really badly and getting injured really badly and fighting back too, to become reactive to the point that he thought every interaction with a dog was going to turn into a fight.
Yeah.
And that's no small deal to me. So if it took him those terrible experiences to develop being reactive, then I need to give him enough time to change his mind and kind of ease him out of that. So every course that I tried, I made a goal for myself to at least let it let myself try it for like 2 to 3 months. And if I
Yeah.
saw that it wasn't working, then I would drop it. And so the next trainer that I tried was also a YouTube trainer. He's more famous than the first one. Um, his stuff is extremely basic. It all kind of boils down to, in my opinion, it all kind of boils down to training on e-collar. And once you've got that solid e-collar training, everything else comes easily after that. Like socialization is no longer a difficulty. Walking on leash, no longer a difficulty. They can be off leash as long as they're e-collar trained. Um, so when he was about um 10 months old, I think, I bought an e-collar for him. And with a trainer, I did a couple of sessions on the e-collar and just I'm not against e-collars entirely. I've seen them do wonders for some dogs.
Sure.
But just trying it on my dog, we had one of those oh, now I can't remember the brand, but it's like the most sold out brand. It's
Well,
like
it's probably
Easy
well there's
something, or
there's Dogtra, and then there's I
it
know
wasn't
which one you're
Dr.
talking about, and now I can't think of the name of it.
I
But they
forget it.
have like they have the pet educator or the educator
Yes,
one. Yeah.
yeah, the educator, micro educator, that one.
Yeah. What the fuck is the name of that break? Anybody watching, you know what?
Yeah,
Yeah, mini educator.
mini
Alexander knows.
educator,
Yeah.
yeah.
I forget what
So
brand it is, but yeah, I know exactly the
yeah.
one you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever that brand is. So, if you have any experience with it, you know that turning it all the way down to a level 2 is like one of the lowest settings possible.
Yeah.
The only lower setting is level 1. And when they were working to try and condition him with it, they would buzz him or do like a quick 2 second, not even 2 second, probably less than that, second long buzz, and then treat him. And he's never worn an e-collar in his life. He was terrified of it.
Mhm.
Whatever it felt like to him, it was not like a little amount of discomfort. It was very, very uncomfortable to him. He would feel it and he would jump in the air and squeal, and yeah. So I couldn't use an e-collar on him, just knowing that I don't know how to make any difference in that. And I didn't have a trainer who was willing to come out and work with him like full time on the e-collar. So I didn't use an e-collar. So instead, they recommended this special prong collar that I bought from their website, and I began training him on a prong collar. And that helped to some degree on his walks. As far as reactivity went, it did nothing to help. The prong collar actually, when he was having a reaction, it would make the reaction worse. So yeah, it did nothing to help. So after a couple months of that, he was about like 10 or 11 months old when I decided, you know what? I've tried these local dog trainers. I've tried online dog trainers. What about force free? Like, I've never thought of force free. The training that I had to do for my job was it was like balanced training, and it was super basic
Yeah.
stuff. And nothing was working for me. So it had been like 4 or 5 months at that point. I was like, let's try force free. So the first force-free trainer that I tried, I purchased a course from her. She's based out of New Mexico, where I'm from, and I really liked her methods. All of her videos and advertisements looked great. Um, Nothing that I did in her courses though worked. And I'm definitely not going to name her because she was very nice,
Or yeah,
very
absolutely.
professional. Yeah, she was great, but it didn't work at all. And
Yeah.
that's when I started thinking maybe my dog just has this level of aggression that's unseen. Because I tried that for like a month and a half, and it just wasn't working. And
Okay.
I was kind of at my wit's end when I decided I found on Facebook a group for extreme aggression and reactivity cases. And I was like, well, I wonder what's in here. So in April, my dog is a year old now, and in April, I joined this Facebook group. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know who the people were, who the admins of the group.
Yeah.
I didn't know who began the group. Nothing about it whatsoever. I just joined it, and
Mhm.
that's when I was introduced to Robert Hynes. So,
Hi,
so yeah,
Robert.
and
I know you're watching. Hey, you have no free will.
hi,
That's why you're
Robert.
here. Anyway,
Yeah,
continue. I'm listening. Let me just, yeah,
okay,
go
okay,
ahead.
yeah. I'm sure Robert is probably watching this, or if not now, maybe you'll see it later, Robert. So, hello.
Hmm.
And I want everybody to know, not that it matters in the grand scheme of things, but I joined that group when I was desperate. I had no ideas left. I did not know how to work with my dog. And I thought my dog is done for. Every time he sees a dog out in public, he goes crazy. Every time he sees a horse, or a cow or a deer, it's always the same.
Yeah.
Um, and I got to the point where I could barely take him out anymore because he's just he's risking getting hurt every
Yeah.
time he acts like this. And I felt at that time like I was just the leash was the only thing preventing
Yeah.
disaster, essentially. So I was at my wit's end, to be fully honest, and I
Good.
joined that group, and I you get to a point where, or at least not you, probably Kevin, but at least dog owners who might be similar to me, who you feel like you've tried everything, you feel like maybe your dog really is just done for. I
Yeah.
Everybody I know hates pit bulls. It's just a common thing. I
Yeah.
get comments all the time in public while on walks. It's like, of course a pit bull is acting like that. Like
Sure.
no semblance of understanding whatsoever, like for what may or may not have happened in the past. It doesn't matter. And nobody is willing to help you if you have a reactive or aggressive pit bull. If
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, if he had been like a border collie or a beagle or something or a husky, it would have been a different story. But he's not. So yeah,
Yeah.
and it just makes me look all the more irresponsible for ever getting him in the first place. Whereas when I got him, um, I don't even know for sure if he's a purebred. I don't know anything about his genetics or his past
Yeah.
or his parents or anything like that. And I also had experience with training puppies. So I'm like, yeah,
Sure.
this will be a piece of cake. I see pit bulls in public all the time, and they're really well behaved, and I don't I don't
Can I say one thing real
yeah,
quick on that too?
yeah,
Pitbull, for those watching, Pitbull is really like this catch-all. It's a
yeah,
general label. It's not really a breed standard. The
mhm,
American Staffordshire Terrier is the original pit bull,
yes,
and there have been so many variations and mixes, and so anything that resembles an American Staffordshire Terrier looks at has the bully characteristics. They just call it a pit bull. And so
yeah,
if you did a DNA test, and I think a lot of what people think are pit bulls, you would find that they probably have Staffordshire Terrier in them, but there's
Mhm.
probably so many other breeds mixed in there. And
Yeah.
so it's not like this pure, like, now correct me if I'm wrong, anybody watching, like you can't go anywhere and get like say a purebred pit bull. You can get a
No.
purebred American Staffordshire Terrier, but where do you get a purebred pit bull necessarily? And
Right.
maybe I don't, maybe I'm just not aware of it, but that's my
Well,
understanding of it.
yeah, there are some people who claim that so the American Staffordshire Terrier, um, and the American Pit Bull Terrier split off
Yeah,
like
yeah,
in
that
the
one. Yeah,
early 1900s, and so I've been in these weird rabbit holes for a long time trying to figure out things
yeah,
about my own dog, and you have the pit bull absolutists who believe that, like, because he is red and has a red nose, that he's
yeah.
descended from the line of these grand champions from, like,
Right.
yeah, and I'm like, "Okay, he
Yeah.
was bred in some guy's backyard in New Mexico." That
Right. Right.
you
Who
can't
knows?
say that
Right.
you can't say he's a purebred. So,
Right.
but yeah, there's the problem with saying pit bull is that there's no breed standard except
Right.
for their tenacity. That's really the
Yeah.
only breed standard. But American Staffordshire Terriers were not exactly just bred for their tenacity or just bred for fighting. So
Yeah.
that's where you get people who say, "Oh, well, you have an Amstaff, not an American Pit Bull Terrier, so yours isn't from a fighting line." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay, they're essentially it's just a mixed breed. That's what it is at this point." And
Hey,
mine
well,
is not.
did you experience, just real quick? Did you experience in
Yeah,
these groups? Because this is something that annoys me a lot too. Is people will get so caught up in, well, that's not a pit bull, that's a blah blah blah, and they
yeah,
focus all their attention. They want to argue about what it really is. What it's like. Can we, like, you're getting so caught up in this minutia here that does it really
mhm,
matter? You know?
yeah.
Um,
I saw that all the time,
yeah,
every day.
yeah,
There would be accounts that had, like, the whole purpose for their account was posting pictures and asking in the caption, "What breed of dog is this?" And a bunch of people
right,
would say, "Amstaff, American Bulldog, American Pit Bull Terrier, Staffordshire Terrier," and, like, every comment would be disliked, and it would have a reply saying, "Actually, this is
right,
the
right, right.
American Pit Bull."
Actually, it's like,
Yeah.
who gives a
So
fuck? First of all, well, I have
yeah,
people that'll when I take Goose out in public, they'll be like, that they
she's
kind
a
of get
pit bull,
startled.
right?
Yeah, they get
Uh-huh.
startled and like, is that a pit bull? Just because she's off leash too. Oh, is that a pit bull? No, she's not
Mhm.
a pit bull. She,
Yeah.
but it's the cropped ears. They assume she's a pit bull, and it's no. But
Yeah.
like I said, at the end of the day, does it matter? Is it worth spending all this time arguing over something? So, like, let's focus on the shit that actually matters?
Mhm. Well, and to answer your question of does it matter, I would say no, but people in public, when you're on a walk and you have a dog that the worst offense that he committed is that he barked from like 50 feet away, then it matters. Like,
Yeah.
that's when it really
Yeah.
matters. That's why
No,
you can't.
yeah, I
So,
guess
like,
what I mean
yeah,
is like arguing over whether it's an Amstaff or an American, like, what is it really, a pit bull? What kind of pit bull? It's like, does
right.
this any of this really, like, why are we
Yeah.
wasting time over this? But I understand what you mean
Yeah.
when you go in public with him and he causes a scene. Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. That
Yeah.
matters, because then
Yeah.
now you
Well,
have,
and
yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
exactly. And it matters because other people are afraid of those dogs or they just downright hate them, which I can understand. I've heard
Yeah,
horror stories about them over and over. My dog in particular, he actually doesn't look as much like a pit bull as he does. A lot of people will ask me if he's a Shar,
yeah,
and
he does
he's
have a different kind of look about him. I
yeah.
know his face especially. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I've also noticed about his body, he's very athletic, but his hindquarters are quite a bit taller than his front, and
mhm,
he's got a very prominent curl to his tail.
yeah,
His tail sticks straight up, that's just how it falls and it curls over. He's got super short ears and tons of wrinkles for a
Yeah.
pit bull. So
Yeah.
he's definitely mixed. He's not a purebred anything. But
Right.
besides the point, if he looks anything like a pit bull, the trainers are going to say, "Oh, well, it's inherited. There's nothing you can do." So
Right. Yeah.
that's the only time when it really matters. If you're in a
Exactly.
YouTube or not YouTube, if you're in a Facebook comment section war, that doesn't matter.
And by the way, guys, these Facebook groups they're so bad. Like I've been in two of them, and it's just like sometimes I wonder, why do I subject myself to this? Why do I post in these groups? Because it's you think the YouTube dog training thing is a dumpster fire. Just join a Facebook group dedicated to aggression reactivity or pit bull. Oh my God, it's insane.
Yes, it is. It's just a huge echo chamber, and even people who disagree with each other, it's like the enemy of my enemy is my
It's
best
my
friend.
friend, right?
So
Yeah,
yeah,
you're right.
it's like people will disagree with each other until you post a picture and say, "Hey, can I get some training advice?" And then they're like, "Oh, you have a pit bull and you're asking for training advice? Who do you think you are?" Like just
It's
telling
like,
you all
well,
these terrible
that's
things.
what
Yeah.
I'm here for. Like I'm looking for help. Can anybody actually help me? And the worst part about
And they
the
can't.
Facebook groups, yeah, somebody will make a post looking for help, and there will be fucking 50,000 people with different opinions. And
Mhm.
then of course there are people that and everybody disagrees, so now there's all these comment threads of everybody going back and forth. It's like, oh my God. And so I can't
It's
imagine what it's like being
psychotic.
on your end, yeah, where you make a post and you get all and you're like, what do I do with this? I can't,
Mhm.
because everybody has something different to say. There's no consensus on this. It's like it just makes it more confusing.
Yeah, it does. It does. And when Goose is so cute. One of my like lowest points, which was right after he was attacked for the second time. Um, I went onto a Facebook group because I was so I was so upset that this happened a second time that I was like, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna even keep this dog if I can't keep him safe and if I can't keep him from fighting back? Because when another dog charges him, he's not the kind of dog where he'll just like lay down and submit and be like, okay, sorry, no conflict. No, that's not what he's like. When another dog charges him, he immediately goes crazy. And I worry that a day might come when that happens and I can't stop him. I can't
Yeah.
prevent him. And
Yeah.
I'm of the opinion that if another dog charges your dog, um I think it's more dangerous just from what I've seen happen in person at work. I think it's more dangerous to not allow your dog to defend himself in some way. Now, not get to the point where, like, you would never want your dog to seriously, fatally injure another dog, but to allow him to defend himself, I feel like is only fair in that scenario, because
Sure.
otherwise, other dogs will end up killing your dog. And so I've seen, I'm sure you've probably seen videos like that too, where there'll be an
Oh, yeah.
owner walking, a dog charges, and then they hold on to the leash and they pull him
Yes.
back and pull him
Yes.
back, and the other dog is hanging on to the dog by the throat or by the leg or whatever. So
Did you
yeah,
see the
so
video I did a video about what to do if A, you're in a dog fight,
mhm,
or B, because there's a lot of common mistakes that I see people make. Like if a dog does, a loose dog approaches them, maybe not charges them and engages, but maybe a loose dog approaches.
mhm.
People tend to make the same mistake, and that especially if they have a little dog, they'll pick the little dog up and they'll
Yeah,
kind of do
I've
this.
yeah,
And I understand it. It's like it's like an instinctual reaction. I get it. You're trying to protect the dog, but
right.
really, it's the worst thing you can do because you pick up the dog and you're automatically going to trigger the prey drive even more of that dog, and now that dog is going to want to jump up and nip, even if the
Mhm,
dog, let's say the dog didn't have aggressive intent, right, but the dog runs up and you do that, well, now the dog's going to be jumping up and trying to, so
yeah,
the best thing you can do, and me and Travis Brown talked about this is in one of the discussions we had, where, and it's easier said than done, but you have to have the mindset when you're out with your dog of like, if something happens like that, you got to be ready to kind of go to war for your dog. Where for me, if a dog charges me, I'm going to step in front of my dog and assert myself to the dog that's charging us, where I'm going to now communicate to that dog. Again, all the means of communication nobody talks about, right? Eye contact, body language, the energy you put. I mean, eye contact can do so much for you if you know how to use it right. Where,
Yeah.
I remember I was out with, I was working with a pit bull client um, a couple years ago, I think. And they had an aggressive pit bull, and
Hmm.
we managed to get to the point where we were walking it through the neighborhood, and this loose, it was like a small pit bull, but this loose pit bull started running up the sidewalk, and of course my client started freaking out, but I don't operate that way. So I see the dog and I know they're freaking out. They don't want the dog to approach. So I start moving towards the loose dog and I just stare it down. And the
Hmm.
body language I was giving it was like, don't come near us. And
Yeah.
the dog stood there and it just started peeing right as it was right where it was standing, and then it ran away. And my
He's like,
clients,
no
yeah, my
thanks.
clients thought I made, like, they thought I, like, it was like voodoo. And I said,
Oh,
no,
that's so sweet.
I just, I just said all the right shit to him. That's all, you
Uh-huh.
know,
Just
I,
like, try
yeah,
it.
just stared him
Yeah.
down, and all the communication I was giving him was like, back the fuck off. And he
Yeah.
peed and then turned and ran the other way, you know?
That's
So
funny.
that's, yeah, if you play your cards right, and I'm not saying that's always going to guarantee,
Right.
because
Right.
some dogs will just charge and so it's, you just do the best you can with it.
Mhm.
But there are common mistakes I see, like people will run away or they'll panic or they'll freak out. And I get it. It's a dog. You got your dog. It's a stressful situation. That
Mhm.
fight or flight kicks in. But if you can do your best to stay calm and stand your ground and assert yourself, chances are you can get the other dog to stop and maybe move the other way.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that actually, I've seen that happen live action before when I was on a walk with my dog and my brother was with me, and I'm so thankful he was there because he's obviously a lot taller than me, but there were there were a lot of stray dogs in this area, but there were two stray, like, really big mixes. One of them looked like a doodle kind of mix,
Mhm.
and the other one was some type of bulldog mix. It didn't really look like a pit bull, but it looked more of like the American bulldog kind of
Yeah.
thing, and he was big. He looked like he would have been about 90 pounds or so. He was really big.
Yeah.
And he was unneutered, and he was, like, he made a beeline, both of them, towards my dog while we were walking, and they came out of nowhere, so it startled me, and I had the exact wrong reaction because this was right after he had been attacked the second time. I
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
immediately, like, backed off and, like, ran over, but then I realized, oh, my brother's there, and I was telling my brother, like, "Just stand still and just tell him no, like, go up there, like, I'm not gonna try it, but you do it."
Play
And
your
so
role. Be a man. Go over
yeah,
there. Yeah.
but he did, he
Yeah.
wasn't scared, he wasn't
Right.
scared at all, but
There you
he
go.
did, and
Yeah.
all he did was walk towards them, and he was like, "Go, leave," and he had to say it a couple
Yeah.
times,
Yeah.
but they left, and they left him alone, and so I was like, "Yes, that's I need to take you with me more often."
Right.
But
There you
but
go.
yeah,
You
I've
can
seen that
protect the
happen.
group.
Yeah, I've seen that happen live before, and, the dog wasn't afraid enough to, like, pee then and there on on the
Yeah.
ground.
Yeah.
But they did leave, they left, and they
Sure.
left us alone, so
That's
it
good.
was good, but yeah, that's I haven't seen that video though that you
Yeah.
mentioned, I
So,
need to
so
watch that.
I don't think a lot of people watch till the end because I was kind of clowning on World Pet Health. So
Oh,
in the title, I said, "Oh, just hit it with body shots," but that's not the
uh,
advice I was giving. So at the
World
end, the
Pet
advice
Health.
I was giving was because I showed a video that I had seen,
Mhm.
and I trained jujitsu, so I know what I know how to do a rear naked choke. And the guy in the
Yeah,
video, it was a kid, it was a pit bull, unfortunately. It
mhm.
was, and pit bulls don't lock their jaw, by the way, guys. But
Yeah.
it had this kid. I think it was in New York City. Had this kid, and everybody's freaking out. Well, this guy just walks up. He put. Let me do it to you. He
Use
put
Goose as an
yeah.
example.
You put the dog in a rear naked choke, and if you do a rear naked choke the right way, they call it a blood choke. And so what you do
Yeah.
is you're cutting off circulation to the brain, and it
Mhm.
knocks him out. Well, so he did that and got the pit bull to let go, mind you, without hitting it to the body or without using the bites. All these things people say that are probably going to provoke the dog further.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and he just stepped in there. He did it.
Yeah.
Dog let go, and that was it. It's like, so that
Yeah.
that would be my advice. And a rear naked choke is something anybody can learn. Like
Mhm.
a child could do it.
Yeah.
So it's not some super special thing that you need to go to, jujitsu class. No, you can look up how to do it. You could figure it out. You could practice it on, your brother or significant other, whatever. And then it's just something you have where
Mhm.
if you find yourself in a situation and you don't have a leash or whatever, you could just do that, and
Mhm.
you should be all right.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that it's interesting that you say that because I've seen somebody do that before. With it wasn't with a pit bull actually. I think it was a fight between a golden retriever, surprisingly, and some kind of a doodle mixed dog. They were fighting over a
Yeah.
toy, and I watched they were like biting each other and hurting each other over this
Oh
toy,
wow.
like resource guarding. And
Yeah.
yeah, he had to do a rear naked choke, but yeah, that's really good advice. I took jujitsu for a little while
Oh yeah. So
when I was
they
a kid.
probably
So,
taught
but
you.
like the rear
Yeah.
naked choke is like the only thing I remember. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's
I've got
usually like,
that at least.
yeah. That's
But
it's beginner stuff. So that's why I'm saying
yeah,
anybody can. But it's something. It's just a way. It could give you peace of mind knowing that, like, if you find yourself, because a lot of people do a lot of things that end up causing more damage to the dog being
yeah,
bitten, or it
yeah,
escalates. It just throws fuel on the fire, and that's just a way where you can calmly step in, get the dog to stop,
yeah,
and it's not gonna cause more damage to the other dog. You're not gonna
right.
panic or it's just you could de-escalate things very quickly,
Hmm.
and everybody can relax.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're not going
And
to hurt the dog. That's the thing. It's like,
yeah,
oh, you hit it with body shots. Yeah, well, what? Okay, what if you fucking now the dog's got like a bleeding liver or something, or
yeah,
you punctured its kidney or something. Like, why? I don't want to go down that road.
yeah. Yeah, and another thing too, once you obviously know this already, but one once you're choking the dog, so to speak, you're just cutting off his airway
Yeah,
until he becomes unconscious, essentially. But once his airway is cut off, the bite will automatically be released. So that's like
right.
the important thing is that people think, "Oh, why are you're just going to choke the dog and kill it? Like what if it wasn't really the dog's fault that it held on to a bite?" Well, no, that's not the point. The point is that you're just cutting off the airway, and as soon as that happens, they automatically release the
Yeah.
bite. So,
Yeah,
but
you're trying to end the confrontation. You're trying to end you're just trying to
mhm,
put a stop to it so you can
yeah,
nobody gets hurt. It's not a
right,
situation anybody wants to be in.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, but anyways, yeah, outside of all of that, that's basically where I was at that point, is that I was worried something like that could happen because even though he's not a purebred, my dog definitely has tenacity and he's submissive and stuff when it comes to being in the home and being with people, but when it comes to defending himself, ever since he was 7 months old, that's really all he sees. That's all he
Yeah.
associates with strange dogs is that I need to
Mhm.
automatically be on the offense because otherwise I'm going to have to be on the defense and
Right.
he's preparing
Mhm.
for something bad to happen. So he's not the kind of dog where you'll see other dogs that they're coming up to kind of posture over a little dog and be somewhat dominant, and the little dog, like, sometimes I have a border collie, and she's still a puppy, but she does this
Yeah.
a lot where another dog will come up to sniff her. It's pretty funny. She'll just like immediately lay down, and she's like, she lifts
Mm-hmm.
her paws in the air, and she's like
Yep.
just, flopping around, smiling.
Yep.
She's very, very submissive. But not all dogs are like that.
Right.
And so yeah, you have to be prepared. And my experience with my pit bull is that he's not like that unless it's with me. If I walk up
Yeah.
to him and I'm gonna pet him, he'll do that. He'll lay on his back and he'll show his belly to me, and he'll
Yeah.
like flop around and kind of be all cute and stuff. But he's not gonna do that to another dog. He wouldn't let
Yeah.
another dog do that to him. So yeah, I was at the point where I didn't know what else to do. I was worried that my dog could seriously hurt another dog, and that he would get hurt again because he's never come out on top of a fight, we'll say, in the
Sure.
the two experiences that I've had. He's always ended up being the one that got hurt a lot worse. And so yeah, after he was attacked, I was extremely worried that if nothing else, he would end up dying if he was attacked that badly again. And so I joined this Facebook group to hopefully get some help so that this reactivity stuff could end. And
Sure.
that didn't happen. So yeah, we can talk about that. And then in case Robert is still watching, or we'll see this in the future, um, just to clear the air and so everybody knows, I am not actually a secret agent. I'm not
Right.
actually
Yep.
a double agent for Kevin.
You're not. You're not my mentoring candidate. Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't go born identity with this.
Yes.
Actually, you just reached out to me. What? Week and a half ago, 2 weeks, something like that. It
Yeah.
was very
It's
recent.
not been long at all. Like
No, we did
since
that.
I
We
reached
did that Zoom call. Was it last Thursday? We did that Zoom call, or was
um
it the week before? I think.
I I think it was the
I
week
think it was
before,
the
yeah.
week before. Yeah. Yeah.
So about two-ish weeks, maybe
Okay.
a little more than that.
Yeah.
But yeah, after, by the way, I have been in this Facebook group for already 3 months. So yeah, that's kind of you didn't make the best choice in hiring a spy. I didn't do a very good job.
Right. No. No,
I could have
I'm
infiltrated
still
this
working
long
on it. I'm
ago.
ironing out the kinks. So thank you for,
Yeah.
now I can enhance the program now. Thank you.
Yeah, you need to find a better a better spy for this. Just saying. But
Right.
yeah, anyways, so back in April is when I first became a spy for Kevin. I mean, joined
Yes.
the group. Sorry, joined the
Yes,
Facebook group.
Svetlana, you've done very well, Svetlana. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
The
I know.
KGB has taught you well. Thank you, Svetlana. Yes.
Yes, yes. But yeah, anyways, no, I really did join the group just out of curiosity and kind of as a last ditch effort.
Yeah.
And so when I started learning from Robert, and the only reason I'm saying his name is because um he's not a trainer, and he also, as far as I know, he doesn't make money off of his advice anymore. He was at one point, but the consult calls that I got from him, full transparency, they were free. And I
Mhm.
waited until he was offering them for free to actually do a call with him. But before
Okay.
he was offering free consult calls, he was still giving advice. He was still like the authority figure in the group. So that's the only reason I mentioned his name. The Facebook group no longer exists. It's been taken down. And so, yeah. And this is not meant to ruin Robert Hynes in
No,
any way,
no,
shape, or
and
form.
that's listen.
Yeah.
Because I've screenshotted all the messages and the comments, and it's I think it's funny now how yeah, he's accusing you of being the reason why he can't give people consults anymore, and he can't. It's like, okay, for all y'all watching, I want you to take something away from this. This is a very important lesson, especially if you do this professionally. if Robert had treated her with respect to begin with, even if a call got released, it wouldn't have mattered because there would be nothing to hide. He would have been acting professionally. He would have treated her with dignity and respect. And so even if a call got released, it actually should make you look better. You should walk away from
I
that
don't
being
think
like,
so.
okay, the call got released, but you know what? Hey, now people can see how well I treat my clients.
Yeah.
As now he's got egg on his face. Now he looks like a dumb fuck where he treated you poorly he was disrespectful. He was, very condescending, very and I guarantee you there's others out there who, and this is why my hat's off to you, because there's so many other people out there that I think have experienced the same thing from a client perspective who didn't really want to say anything or come forward or go to the lengths you have to make this known. And I think a lot of that is maybe fear of retaliation or, because Robert, he can be very vindictive.
Yeah.
And so I really, I think it's courageous what, the fact that you not only, I mean, you engaged in another call with him just to share your opinion, which by the way, that's what you said it wasn't a consult call that got recorded. You said you wanted to share your thoughts with him and just let him know what you thought and that
Mhm.
things weren't working.
Yeah.
And but I commend you for sharing your opinion, being honest with him, pushing back, and just letting him know, like, listen, this I've been trying what you're saying, and this isn't working. And what is crazy to me is there's no accountability on his end where he's saying or asking himself questions like, okay, where did I fail with this? Where could I do things better? Where could I improve? What am I actually wrong about? Where but instead
Well,
the blame was all put on you.
yeah, that's because he didn't have any power in what happened. It wasn't his choice. None of this.
No.
He doesn't have free will, so why would he? Why would he
Right,
ask
exactly,
himself what
right.
went wrong? Yeah.
Which, by the way, he had no problem posting the call to a group of 5,000 people, but now it's a big deal that it's public on YouTube. But wait a minute, 5,000 people is not an insignificant number of people,
Mhm.
but since it's in this super secret private group,
Mhm.
it's like, come on. Yeah, but like
Well,
you said, it's because he can't control it, therefore that's why he's upset about
yeah. So that's why I'm not upset with you if you're
it.
watching Robert Hynes, because I don't have free will either. So
Right. Yeah.
I
I
I
don't,
didn't
yeah,
even
just everything
I didn't
coming
even
out of our
choose to
mouths
be
right
on the
now. Yeah,
phone with.
we don't have free will. And Robert obviously didn't have free will when he was talking down to you and belittling you
No,
and
that
acting like
wasn't
he
his
was,
choice.
yeah, he was operating from his unconscious mind. Let's put it
Yeah.
that.
No, but yeah. Anyways,
That's the
despite my
reality.
not, yeah, yeah, that's a
That's the reality.
reality.
That's the reality. Okay. 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 Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Despite my lack of free will, somehow the universe led me to go to the Facebook group and ask Robert for advice. And so I made a list of some of the things that he told me, and this was before our consult calls. A lot of this was like, which Robert doesn't remember this. I tried to explain this to him in our messages, but he doesn't remember this. I had been posting on the group, and he had been watching my videos and commenting on them. And
Really?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I didn't
he had
know
been
that.
commenting on them. Yeah, he and then a couple of the admins and then a few group members had been commenting on them for this whole time. And he doesn't remember that, and now the group is gone, so I have no evidence of that. But before, like, I think 2 days ago, when he announced that the Facebook group was going to be shut down, I went back and I was like, okay, what is even the point of any of this? The Facebook group is getting shut down now. This is like such a wasted effort. So I deleted most of my old posts because they were still up there and I didn't have any progress posts to make. These were all just
Right.
like more videos asking what should I do in this scenario, and I'm not going to knock the people because they tried giving me advice, but the things that they suggested just weren't realistic. And the things that Robert suggested were beyond unrealistic. They were more like deranged, to put it
Yeah.
lightly.
Can I
For
give you
me
an
to,
example of I was in the group for like
yeah.
less than 24 hours, and one of the I saw
Did
I'll
he
never
block
forget.
you after 24
Yeah,
hours?
he accused me of spreading dog training. Even
Oh,
though I saw somebody's post, they were talking about their I think it was a Malinois had destroyed their bathroom, and
I saw that. I
yeah
think I saw
I
that.
was just
Yeah.
asking questions, and I gave a couple of suggestions as to why I thought that might be the case, and then yeah, he booted, which was funny because he was telling this person, oh, go watch Kevin Murdoch, go watch his videos about me, and he linked a video to my channel, but
Yeah.
then he accused me of spreading dog training. I'm like, but you told this person to what? You linked my videos in the group, but then you accused like
Yeah.
what the? So, but the craziest thing I saw was there was a thread about this dog, a dog jumping, and
Hmm.
one of the people had suggested that they should roll their eyes. Yeah, just roll your eyes, and the dog will know. Oh, this is ridiculous. Like, what the fuck are we? What are we doing? You know, it's like the blindfolding shit where I've seen the blindfolding stuff in the
Yeah.
Facebook group I'm in, and it's
Hmm.
usually spam posts because they're trying to sell a product. They're trying to sell the blindfold. But I
Yeah.
saw a picture of this German Shepherd in the car with the blindfold, and I'm like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. You're out here telling people to blindfold their dog because it's reactive.
Hmm.
There's got to be a joke. But anyway, I'm sorry
It's
to
not
interrupt
a
you.
joke.
Go.
It's
Right. Yeah,
not
I
a
know
joke,
because he told you
unfortunately.
to do the same thing. I know.
I wish it was a joke. It would be a bad joke, but it's not a joke. But yeah. Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that because actually that's the only reason that I found you, Kevin, was through Robert because he posted a link to your channel of like go watch what this idiot is saying. Like as if
Thank
that's
you, Robert.
not
Thank you.
applause. As if
Yeah.
that's not like harassment, some type of harassment to tell your followers to go leave mean comments and
Yeah.
like dislike his videos and stuff.
Yeah.
But
Hey,
anyways,
it's all engagement. Bring it on. I welcome it.
yeah.
You all can say what you want, comment, dislike. I don't give a fuck. It's only gonna help my shit do better.
Yeah. Well, that is how I found your channel. That's the only reason. Because other than Robert Hynes, I probably would have never known that your channel was there because I was looking all in the opposite direction of like force-free stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
And this is
But
why
anyways,
people wonder why, Kevin, why do you debate? Why do you argue? Because of this.
hmm.
Because people will see the debates. People will see the videos that I make refuting other people,
Hmm.
and it especially in your experience, if you have been to this individual and you have experienced certain things with them, and then you hear me rebut what they're saying, like the debate.
Hmm.
I mean, you even said it where you're like, oh, you said all of the things I was thinking, but I didn't really know how to articulate it, and
Yeah,
so the light bulb
exactly.
started going off, and so
Yeah.
that's why I debate to me is so important
Hmm.
because the only antidote for bad ideas is good ideas.
Yeah.
So this is why debate, and to have your ideas challenged in real time, to have it to have someone put them under a microscope and to for the public to view, because only then can we really see if an idea can stand the test of scrutiny.
Yeah.
And so this is why I don't understand why people talk down on debate, is because it's very useful,
Hmm.
especially in situations like this. But anyway, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, no, it's okay. I totally agree with you, and yeah, I'm not good at debate. Like I'm if I was
That's
in a
okay.
debate, I'd be like, "Wait, what? Why are you why are you even arguing that?" I wouldn't and I don't know enough to be able to refute on topics like this because
Yeah,
I'm the one and I feel like that's another reason why it's so discouraging for dog owners is because I'm the one asking for help. I'm not here to debate. I don't have the
Right.
information that I would need to debate you. I just
Right.
know that what you told me to do didn't work. And I'm
Right.
not afraid of saying that. Like I'm not
Good.
afraid of telling Robert that, but I also like when it comes to trying to debate him on whether or not Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung
Right.
agreed with each other's philosophies.
Yeah. Like, who
I,
cares?
why am I going to debate that? I haven't really
Right.
read much of
Yeah.
B.F. Skinner, so I don't know a lot about what he says. I just know what
Yeah.
Robert says, okay?
Right.
And
Exactly.
that I can question, but I'm not quick enough to think of rebuttals for
It's
for
okay.
that kind of
It's
stuff.
okay.
So,
It's not
so
your
that's
it's
why.
not your job, and you shouldn't be in a position to do that.
Hmm.
I don't have any issue with my clients questioning me. Like, I've had situations where I'm at somebody's house and we're working through something, and they'll question, like, okay, why are we doing this? But I can explain it to them, and I have no issue with being questioned.
Hmm.
And sometimes my clients have they'll suggest something, and I'm like, that's a really good idea. Why don't we do that?
Hmm.
And so, you know, being, but I'm the one that gets accused of being arrogant, right? But it's like being so, up your own ass, where you can't handle a client questioning you, or asking questions, or saying this didn't work,
Hmm.
or suggesting something that may be a good idea.
Hmm.
Um, I just don't understand it, and it's
Yeah.
not you're not in a position, you shouldn't be put in a position where you have to, say, debate the quote
Mhm.
professional.
Yeah.
Um, that, to me that again, it lacks leadership on his part, where there's a malfunction here. You know.
Yeah. And I would agree with that because I'm not coming from a place of any kind of authority. I'm just I can question all I want
Yeah.
because I am actually wondering what the answers to those questions are. It's not for any
Right.
kind of reason to like own you or like,
Right.
oh, you got so embarrassed, didn't
Right.
you? I don't care
Right.
about that.
No.
I'm literally just asking because it's a question I was wondering what the answer was. I
Yeah.
mean that's the only reason. And so
Right.
but Robert is never gonna see it that way, which I don't
No.
mind. He can misunderstand me if he wants to. That
That's
it was
okay.
never my intention, but
No,
that's
but
how it is.
what's
So
funny though is you'd ask him a question, but then he would turn it around on you and then ask you a question. It's like, can't you just answer the fucking question?
yeah.
He accused you of going to step 50, but anytime you asked him what's the first step, he couldn't give you a first step. It was just asking you
Mhm.
another question. It's like, well, and then he says it's a mess. It's all over the place. Well, yeah, because you're all over the place. You
Mhm.
are the one who's supposed to be leading the client and guiding the client, and it's a mess and all over the place because you're a mess and all over the place. I don't know how you can't see that. You know what I
And
mean?
I know what you mean. And like I was I was questioning myself, my own sanity, like for the
Talk about
first couple of
gaslighting. Hey,
months.
hey, Dale, I know you're watching. That's what gaslighting really is, right? Not the shit
Yeah,
I'm doing. Hey, right? So,
yeah.
so the malignant
Uh,
narcissism of these people.
yes. Exactly. Yeah. No, that's too funny. Your impressions are really good, by the way, on your
Like, oh,
videos.
well, that's the
You really
reality.
nailed.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
It's just the reality.
Yeah, that's the reality.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Mhm.
appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for the
You're
compliment. I'm
welcome. You're
still I'm
welcome.
still working on a couple of them, but I'll get there. I'll get
Dale
there.
McCluskey was really good. I was like, you did that in a video the other day. I was like, hey, you sound
that
exactly
that
like him.
that
That was
intro is
good.
actually that intro is actually kind of hard. The
Was
haha, hey,
it?
welcome in this video. It's the little chuckle he does. That's actually kind of difficult. The
In
haha,
this video, yeah.
haha, hey, welcome in this video. I want to respond by way of these trainers.
Oh my gosh.
The
Yeah. Yeah.
narcissism, you know.
Mhm.
But anyway, thank you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Encore. No, but anyways, yeah. So when I first got into the group and I was learning what Robert had to say, I questioned my own sanity because I was I was trying things that I had never previously thought of trying, Not because they hadn't occurred to me, but because they actually sound crazy. And at the
Yeah.
time, I was justifying it, saying, well, I've tried all the usual methods. I've tried the more popular, more common methods, and those haven't worked either. So maybe, even though it sounds crazy, maybe it could really work, which
Maybe it could
is,
work, right? And
yeah, yeah.
there's nothing wrong with trying, because as I said in the last video I did, I've done
Mhm,
so much experimenting with different things. And there's nothing wrong with just trying to just hey, let's see if this works. Because
mhm,
sometimes
mhm,
something a little out of the box can work. And there's
mhm.
nothing wrong with trying things out and seeing if there's some validity.
Yeah.
Um, but some of the things I like, the rolling your eyes thing, I was like, this is batshit insane. Like, why would you even suggest that? I don't understand it,
Mhm,
you
mhm.
know?
Yeah. Well, and I don't have a problem with doing maybe some unconventional things, but
Yeah,
if it gets to the point where it's going to endanger my dog or endanger another dog, that's
yeah,
when I'm like, okay, wait a second, what am I doing? Like, what is this? Because some
yeah.
of the things I'll just mention some of them. So some of the things that I had tried previously with Theoden was a prong collar technique to prevent lunging at other dogs. Didn't work. Didn't do anything. Just made him more frustrated. Treats to deter targeting during reactions. So like to redirect his attention on me. Didn't work at all. My dog has never been interested in treats, and I would use them for things like sit, down,
Sure.
middle, things like that. But
Training
like
skill. Right,
exactly, yeah.
right.
But nothing applicable to the real world. Like
Right.
treats didn't work for that kind of thing. And then like clicker training didn't work at all. That kind of stuff. The worst thing I think I did was I learned from a trainer how to use toys to distract him off of like a trigger.
Something I hear
And
a lot. That's a
yeah,
big one. I'm just like,
I
can we stop telling
yeah.
people this, please?
I know. I think that messed him up pretty bad too, because that kind of just heightened like his prey drive. Whereas before he was actually a little more timid
Yeah.
of other dogs. Like he didn't do lunging so much as just he would sit there and yelp and bark. But when I started to distract him or deter him with toys, he actually started to become more confident and more like the lunging to get to the other dog.
Sure.
And so that was a huge huge mistake that I made, so
That's
hopefully
okay.
anybody watching in the future, don't try that. But,
Definitely. I agree.
yeah, but things like downstays, when another dog would approach, that didn't keep him calm at all. Having him do a downstay almost stressed him out more, like, that's where a lot of the shaking would begin because he's sitting there not knowing what to do with himself. Um, it just it didn't work at all. And then the last thing that I tried for, like, one
Can
of
I
the
say
more
one thing about that
mainstream.
real quick?
Yeah,
Just
yeah, go
just
ahead.
about the shake. So, um, sometimes, and I'm sure you've seen this now, where okay, if you put the dog in a certain position and you
Mhm,
see, and they're in a state of stress,
mhm,
a lot of times, like I told you in one of the messages I sent you, it's a process of kind of shedding that stress. We want to work them through the stress, and so the more structure we give them, they're going to be stressed. But the idea is that we can provide structure so that heightened state eventually comes down.
mhm.
If we just do nothing, and this is the thing that I was a bit of a contradiction with Robert too, is he talked about structured exercise, but Robert doesn't really know what structure is because everything he tells people is to just do nothing. That's not
Yeah,
that's not structure, or you're not introducing structure. Um, so you're not giving the dog any sort of guideposts to reach a place where it can be calm.
mhm,
And what you may see when you're working through these things is like the advice I had given you is you'll see the dog stress out at first, but then the more and more you go down this road, you'll see the stress kind of just melt away.
mhm,
And so sometimes people will see the beginning stages of the process and they'll think, well, his state of mind isn't where it should be. But if you do all the little things right, eventually his state of mind will reach a much calmer place.
Yeah.
And so that's why I told you, like I wouldn't focus on the downstays necessarily, but they can be utilized as long as we're not focusing on the position, but we're focusing on the state of mind he's in.
Yeah.
So we can use it, but as long as our priority is where's his mind at, what's he focused on, that's the important
Right.
thing, rather
Right.
than just put him in a downstate to keep him in one spot. Well, that doesn't really help you as far as
Mhm.
getting him calm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know that simply because of trying it, because I would have him in a downstay and a dog would approach and he'd immediately break the downstay and like start freaking out. So it didn't accomplish anything. Now, recently I've been getting to the place where I can have him in a downstay and just stand there next to him with the leash still on him, but he's just in a downstay, just learning how to regulate and, like, calm down
Yeah.
around some of
Yeah.
his triggers, so to speak, like, we've
Yeah.
done that with.
The last video
Oh,
you
go ahead.
sent me, yeah, like the first video I watched down to the last one in
Mhm.
that same outing. I was like, you got
Yeah,
it, you're there, and
yeah,
you look so much calmer. You look
yeah,
really
he
good.
did a lot better, he did, so, yeah, but anyways, yeah, those were the things that I tried, with the regular trainers' techniques, and I think one of the biggest differences between classical, like, obedience training and, um, balanced training and what you do, what your approach is just that yours is so dog specific as compared to anything else I've seen. That
Mhm.
you actually have, like, a different protocol depending on the dog's history.
Yeah.
And even though we're not supposed to live in the past, even though that's that's terrible, but you live in the past to a degree that you can like explain to me why some things would work more than others
Yeah.
because you have past experience with those things working
Right.
more than
Right.
others. And so
Remember, you're living in
so
the past though, and you're afraid of what he might do. But then, oh well, if we want to figure out the problem, we got to go back to the past.
yeah, I know. It's
That was another contradiction in the conversation. I'll get to that in my future parts
yeah.
when I give my
Yeah.
commentary. Yes.
I think maybe you should just listen to the phone call again, but this time without any bias, and you'll
Yeah.
suddenly start to understand, like, actually, Robert is a very genuine, kind
Oh,
person.
absolutely.
He's
Yes. See
yeah.
past the passionate talking, which, by the way,
Mhm,
I have nothing wrong with passionate talking, but to me, the
mhm.
passionate talking directed at a client, I think, is unprofessional. Um, But
Maybe
again,
just a little.
yeah, just a little bit. But again, it wasn't like I said, it wasn't even the professional. It wasn't even the passionate tone. It was the
Mhm.
words that were coming out of his mouth.
Yeah,
That's what I had a problem with. Um,
yeah, me too, but it's not his fault, he doesn't
no, he
have
has no
free
free will. Yeah, he doesn't have free will. So how can we
will.
blame him? We can't blame Robert. You know.
Yeah. Plus plus I was a spy, and I was
Right,
making him angry on purpose. So
right.
wouldn't you get angry? Would you not be angry too, Kevin, if
Well, I mean, I don't
the
have free
spy
will,
was
so if
infiltrating you?
yeah, you don't have free will, which is why I sent you in there because I knew you would be a great little,
Oh, yeah.
you'd be a great
Yeah.
Manchurian candidate. But
Uh-huh.
also, um, the situation was, I guess, just meant to play out how what because we're all just little robot automatons just carrying out our program.
Yeah.
So that's the reality.
Yeah, that's the reality, and it was so easy for
Okay,
me, like,
okay,
I've
okay.
already I yeah. I already haven't had free will for a long time, so this
Right,
comes naturally to me, so
definitely. I'm with you.
but
I'm with you.
yeah. But yeah, anyways, so for to go from that, to go from all of my experiences trying the most basic stuff and having it not work at all, to thinking, okay, well, my dog is just unfixable. That this is never going to change. I had people telling me, you probably just have to euthanize him. Dogs like that are aggressive and that are a bite risk, they
Yeah,
just need to be euthanized. And especially because he's a pit bull, you know, I'm sure you can imagine, but I'll just sum it up. to say that there's nobody kind when you have a pit bull, and especially like you're a woman walking down the street with this dog that's like barking his head off. Everybody has something to say about it, and they're like, of course you would have a pit bull. Like, you're an idiot. You're a laughing stock, to say the least. And so
Sure.
so at
Hey,
that point,
but remember, the miniature pincher owners have a greater stigma than you. So how
that's
dare you
true.
even?
I forgot about that. I forgot about that. Yeah. Min pins rise, you know.
Oh
We
yeah,
need
yeah.
more
No, you pit bull
pin.
owners don't have to worry about shit. It's the min pincher owners that
Yeah.
we're social pariahs.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, anyways. So yeah, the techniques that Robert was suggesting to me and telling me to do, they seemed out of the realm of possibility for working or for changing anything for the better.
Yeah,
But my only other alternative was, just get your dog euthanized. How am
yeah.
I going to rehome an aggressive pit bull? How
You
could
can't.
I?
You
I
can't.
can't do that in good conscience, and I wouldn't want to because he's my dog. I love him. He has issues, but I'm never thinking about giving up on him just because of that. And I
Yeah,
always feel like whether or not I intended to cause his reactivity, as long as he's alive, I have the I have the responsibility of training him out of that, or at least guiding him through it and not allowing him to cause serious damage. So that's just the way I view it.
sure.
And so I was like, you know what? This sounds crazy, but let's give it a try. So I wrote down a list. One of the first things that Robert suggested was to blindfold my dog and
Well,
to
that was the
allow
first
him.
thing. One of the
Yeah,
first. Oh,
yeah. Step number
wow.
one:
Wow.
blindfold your reactive dog.
Okay.
No, but
Very okay.
yeah. So when I first started talking to Robert, it was through comments and messages. And also I started reading his blog posts because all of his Facebook posts will inevitably have a link or something directing you to his blog.
Yeah.
And his blog posts talk about the same things that he gives people advice on in his calls or in messages. So one of the first things that he instructed me to do was to blindfold my dog. And he told a story of how he once went into a client's apartment with his dog, with Monty, and he blindfolded the dog. It was an Australian cattle dog, like a blue heeler, and he blindfolded that dog. And that dog was reactive and like trying to bite Monty's head off. But once he was blindfolded and he was able to smell Monty without seeing him, the dog calmed down and he took the blindfold off and they were friendly with each other. So I've never seen a video like that. I
I
can't
never
say
have either.
I
I've
can't
never
say
seen a
whether or
video.
not that's true, but that's what he told me.
Yeah, and this is
Um,
why, guys, you have to provide your work because
mhm,
you can make a claim like that, but I'm not going to buy it till I see it.
yeah,
And so
yeah,
that's why I say all these people out here who want to help you, me included, we could say whatever the fuck we want, but if we can't back it up with real world evidence, work,
mhm,
results, client test, anything,
mhm,
then to me it's like a fart in the wind. I don't care. Who cares? Because everybody out here, this internet game, everybody loves to say that we all talk. Everybody talks. I don't give a
mhm,
fuck about your words. Show me how it works, and
yeah,
then I will consider it.
yeah, yeah. Well, and that was the same thing with me. Like I personally, I tried the blindfold thing, but it's not very realistic to do when we have dogs behind fences, which
Yeah,
is one of my dog's biggest triggers. He couldn't even get close enough to the fence to smell the dog without doing flips in the air because he's
yeah,
blindfolded. he
yeah.
he freaked out. It didn't work at all. So that was one thing I attempted like a couple times at the most. I can't remember exactly, but I couldn't even get 5 minutes through. Like he would try to get the blindfold off. It just freaked him out. So that
Can
was
I
the
can I ask you
first
something real quick? Well,
suggestion.
just like I don't know, if I think of this from a common sense perspective, like imagine
Mhm,
you're in a stressful state, or you see something that raises the cortisol, as Robert says, and then I
mhm.
remove your ability to see the thing that you're stressed out about. Is that going to cause more stress, do you think, or less? I get the idea where
Think
he's trying to get
more.
the dog to now utilize its nose. I understand that. But
Yeah, that's his.
psychologically, right? Let's think about this from a psychological standpoint. It's like guys like Dale where they want to try to reduce the dog's stress by applying pressure around its neck with the choke shape. Well, if anybody puts pressure around your neck and they're already stressed out, do you think that's going to cause more stress, or you
Yeah.
think it's going to like it doesn't it to me it's just the most it does not lack there's no common sense to it. To me it
Mhm.
makes it's not logical. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
And so I
agree.
don't understand why it's like do people not think these things through before they suggest them, or they like, especially being the psychology master, I'm thinking like, well, if the and let's say if it was out of fear, if the dog was afraid of that thing, and then now the dog can't even see it. I mean, if it were me, like you put me, I'm afraid of heights, right? You put me on a roller coaster.
Mhm.
I'm already up in the air. I know I'm up in the air. I don't want to be up there. And then you take away my ability to see anything. I'm gonna freak out.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah,
good. So it's like, to me
yeah.
that would amplify the situation, you know?
Mm, yeah. Yeah, I totally understand that, and um, I can see maybe what he means when you ask, like, do these people think it through before they give advice based on it? I knowing Robert just in this capacity, like, I would my work schedule is such that I can make my own hours, so I would take my dog out every single day to practice these things
Mhm.
with him.
Yeah.
And, before going out with him, I would read one of Robert's blogs, I would check his posts for the day. For 3 months, I did this. So, like, him saying, "Oh, well, you just never actually tried. You never actually rejected training." I
Yeah.
re I rejected everything that I learned through training because it didn't work for my dog. Like even the prong collar, you were talking about causing more stress by lifting up on the neck and like cutting off some form of airway, not necessarily, but just causing stress on
Yeah.
the esophagus.
Right.
Um, that that just caused him to be 10 times more reactive. As soon as I saw that happening on a regular basis, I stopped using the prong collar. I just didn't use
Yeah.
anything else like that. And so to say that it was just because I never actually rejected training all the way, um, in my opinion, it's ridiculous because I never actually even accepted training all the way in the first place.
Right. You're
I'm
already
the
trying
dog.
things that didn't work.
Yeah, I was already I
Right.
again, I was at my wit's end coming to Robert because I didn't know what else to do. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, but I don't think they actually think through their their methodology. They don't want to call it a methodology. Robert would get really upset with me for calling it a methodology. But it is because if it's something that you apply, if it's an applied science, it's a methodology. You don't do nothing by actively placing a blindfold over your dog's eyes. You're doing
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
So,
So for me, I because I somewhat fall into that category where I'll say, because I don't, people who assert like this methodology works, or you
mhm,
need to use this method or this system, I take issue with that, just
mhm,
because the most important factors are going to be who you are and what you communicate to your dog, and those aren't necessarily methodologies in the sense that because it encompasses who we are as humans.
mhm.
But I know what you're saying, and that you're saying, well, the a methodology simply explains like the process of doing something, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So in that sense, yeah, you could say it's a methodology. I think the only issue the only reason I take issue with the word is because it implies like you could do this thing and apply it to all dogs, and well, if you use the method, it'll work. It's like it doesn't work that way. You know what I mean?
Well, with Robert, surprisingly, even though he rejects that so much, he does believe that it works with every dog. He does
Yeah.
believe that there are like maybe 4 or 5 things instead of just one, but
Yeah.
those 4 things will work with every dog regardless of what their past issues were.
Doesn't
So
work.
that is technically a methodology. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would think that that counts or qualifies as a methodology, but either way, won't get into semantics, but yeah,
No, that's
that's
okay. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's one of the things he had me do was the blindfolding. And again, he says that he doesn't give people direction and that I'm not an authority figure when I would ask him that.
Yeah.
But then every time he makes a post, he calls dog trainers or other professionals in the field, he calls them stupid, ridiculous, idiots,
Fake and
psychopaths,
fraud. Yeah, fake
narcissists.
fraud, liars. It's
Yeah,
like
liars and frauds. And I'm like, okay, well, you have the authority to say that, and you have the authority, according to you, to say that you're right as compared to
right.
those people. So
Exactly.
doesn't that kind of make you an authority to some degree? And he would consider himself an authority.
You
Just
would.
during that phone call, he denied it, but he
Yeah.
would the rest of the time. He did
You
it
know
a
what?
bunch.
Yeah. What's funny is this is one of the first things I said to him during the debate we did is that everything Robert says is a logical fallacy and that it's an argument from authority. What an argument from authority is Robert saying this is true because Skinner said it, or this is true
Right,
because Young said it.
right.
That is a logical fallacy. It is not how it works. If you are going to appeal to an authority, you can't do it that way. You can use authorities to make an argument, but you have to also that's not you can't just assert something because somebody said like COVID would be a great example of why appealing to authorities or appealing to science
Hmm.
completely backfires.
Hmm.
We need evidence to back up the authority. Just because some guy
Hmm.
wrote it in a book, well, he did the studies. Well, yes, but that doesn't mean the studies like this is why science goes through peer review process because we
Hmm.
need other individuals to examine it, test it. So you can't just have one guy saying shit and take it as fact. We need
Yeah,
other people to verify it. And so
yeah.
this is my whole problem with it is but everything Robert asserts is well, all these psychologists say this, and so are you saying you're smarter than them? I've never said I was smarter than any of them, but what you are ignoring is all of the people, the psychologists and the quote experts who disagree with
Exactly.
Skinner and disagree.
Yeah.
Right. So why are we leaving them out of the conversation?
Hmm.
Right. Um, but again, and this is why for I will never call myself an expert, but I have a lot of experience.
Hmm.
Um, as a professional, we are automatically in a position of authority, and this is why that position you are now in a position where you bear a lot of responsibility.
Hmm.
So the advice you give, right? Like, and this is kind of the fine line where for me, if I have a client and I'm in the position to guide that client, right? I'm responsible for my client and their success and their dog. However, I don't live with them or their dog.
Hmm.
So there's only so much I can do, right? I can give them all. I can go above and beyond, give them all the advice and all the help and coaching and whatever I can.
Hmm.
I can do my best, and that onus is on me. I bear that responsibility. But at the end of the day, it's on them to implement it, to stay in contact with me, send me videos, let's troubleshoot, right?
Yeah.
I can only do so much. And
Yeah.
so, but I put that responsibility on me as well. So even if I have a client who maybe isn't doing as well because they're not quite listening 100%, I
Hmm.
still feel like a failure in some regard because I'm like, well, what could I do better? What am I
Yeah.
doing where there's a breakdown of communication or they're not quite convinced or like what am I failing at? Um,
Mm.
and so if you were going to expect people to listen to you, and you are asserting that this is true because X, Y, and people said it, automatically you are portraying yourself as an authority figure to somebody who's coming to you for help with something,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's actually why I had like I I don't see it as me having been confident in any capacity to confront him really, because I have the authority of my dog and of knowing my
Right.
dog, and I have the
Yes.
authority to ask him those questions because I've tried what he told me and it didn't work.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
I'm not an authority over
Yeah.
anything except my dog and
That's
my
your dog. Yeah.
experience with him. Yeah.
Exactly.
And so that's why for me it was just like a matter of actually genuinely wanting to know once and for all, is this really what you're going to keep standing on even if people are telling you it doesn't work? Are you
Yeah.
sure about that? Like that's all
Yeah.
I wanted to know.
Right.
And you can also clear the air if you want to. You didn't ask me to call Robert Hynes that day,
No.
did you?
In fact, in fact, so if I remember the conversation correctly, you said after he kind of pieced it together that you had come to me for
Mhm.
help. He started messaging you a lot, and then he said he wanted to get on. He wanted to have a call with you, and I even encouraged it. I said, "Yeah, go by all means, go have a call with him." I didn't discourage you or try to sway you or be like, "No, Robert, bad, don't do." I didn't do any of that shit.
No.
I told
No.
you, yeah, go talk to him.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I didn't, and to me, this is the biggest problem I think I have with the conversation right now around leadership is um, I'm not trying to control people and I'm not trying to tell people what to do as this some like I'm trying to dominate everybody and I want control over people. I don't operate that way. People
Mhm.
have the ability to choose for themselves. We're all grown adults. You have the agency and the free will to choose to go to whoever you want. Who the
No.
fuck am I to say you
No.
can't talk to this person and they're bad and they're it's like no you do whatever you want. You
Yeah.
are a grown adult. Um, I'm never going to try to convince anybody. Even when I have potential clients call me, and they're like, "Oh, well, yeah, like a thumbtack." They'll say, "Oh, well, I've got a few other people I want to call," and I say, "Yeah, please do that actually," because I would encourage people to talk to more than one person and see who's going to be the best fit for you. See
Mhm.
what makes the most sense for you. And this is also why, going back to what you said as being the authority for your dog, if somebody calls me and they say, "Oh, you don't use e-collars, do you?" Or you don't you let's say I did.
Mhm.
I'm not going to force anything on my client. I'm not going to say if my client was not comfortable using X, Y, or Z, then I'll say, hey, I respect that. I'm not going to push anybody in any certain direction. I will find a way to work around it and we'll find a solution that works for you. Now, there are some
Yeah.
things, though, that it's like we can't, like, for instance, if you have an aggressive dog and that dog is clearly taking control of the home, then the reality of the reality is you have to take control back of your home and
Mhm.
there is one way through that and
Mhm.
I can show you how to do it. But if somebody isn't on board with that process, then unfortunately I have to tell them like, well, listen, in my experience, this is we have to confront the dog and go through this. And if you're
Yeah.
not comfortable doing that, then I'm just may not be the right person for you because I can't in good conscience go against what I know to be like if I know what's going on here, I can't act against that.
Yeah.
But if somebody says I don't want to use this tool or that, cool, I'll respect that all day long because again, you're the authority over your dog. I'm
Yeah.
not going to. I may recommend. I may be like, I understand. I may recommend or give my opinion on it or my what I've experienced with it. But the choice is yours at the end of the day as
Yeah.
the client, as the authority over your dog. It's like I can't
Yeah.
make you do anything or use anything, or I can give you my professional opinion and you do what you want with it.
Yeah. Exactly. And I really like that about you in particular, Kevin, because I personally I would not want to do e-collar training on my dog. I've thought about it for a long time, it's just not really something I would want to do. I feel like if I can get to the point where he can be off leash, why why really have an e-collar on him?
Yeah.
That's just another kind of tool that I think about it in these terms. If they didn't have that tool at their disposal 100 years ago, yet people were still able to control their dogs, why should I need it?
Yeah.
And so things like a head halter or like a gentle leader or a halty, something like that, um, I don't have a problem using because they did used to make like rope tie harnesses for their dogs. They did that all the time.
I didn't know
Um,
that. I didn't know that.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
they see.
What?
I read some books.
There
It's
you
hard to
go. There
believe
you
because I'm
go. There you
illiterate.
go. You're
I'm
living in the
illiterate,
past,
but
though, Eden. You're living in the past. How dare you talk
oh
about
yeah, darn it,
it?
I forgot. Shoot.
I'll say this. I'll say this too. I find that because personally, as I've said, I think that tools are something we as humans use to compensate for our inability to communicate like dogs. But what I see this trend in dog training nowadays where it's like the culture is moving so far in this direction where it's just e-collars for everything.
Mhm.
And to me, it's lazy because,
I agree. I
yeah,
agree. Mhm.
you should be able, and I've only used e-collars twice as a last resort, but I didn't need the e-collar. The client needed it because they couldn't assert themselves to their dog the way I can.
Mhm.
So the way I see it is, imagine if there were no e-collars. How would any of you professionals be able
Be in
to
the
influence them?
business
Yeah.
even?
How would you go about quote training the dog then
Yeah.
without the e-collar? Because
Yeah.
I've heard more than one of these people say that they struggle with being assertive and they have anxiety. It's like, okay, well then, if you're around a dog who can sense that you really aren't built that way, and you don't have an e-collar to kind of stim them into
Yeah.
submission, what
They're
or
like,
what are you left with? Right? Yeah,
mhm.
the dog isn't going to take you seriously. So for me, it's like
No.
I want to become the type of individual where I can communicate to a dog because I've developed certain internal mechanisms within myself, and that
Mhm.
dog can respect me, and I don't need a fucking e-collar. I don't need
Yeah.
I don't need anything to do it. You know?
Mhm. Yeah. And so yeah, and that's what I was gonna point to because I don't care if other people use them. I'm not like an
Yeah.
e-collar absolutist.
Right.
It
Yeah. Me either.
doesn't
Yeah.
matter to me. But I won't use it for my dogs. And so but one thing that I was willing to integrate that you've talked about in a lot of your videos is having like a more masculine authority figure in your dog's life, which um my brother and I rent together. We live together with our dogs and he works a lot. He's super busy. His schedule is really demanding.
Yeah.
So he's never really done any of the dog training that I've done and it's just not really his interest. It doesn't, he doesn't love our dogs any less. He just doesn't have the time.
Sure.
But in the past couple weeks, we've been implementing some of your suggestions, but I've been saying, wait, wait a second, actually, you try this. I'll just stand back. You see how it goes. And my dog's responding to him completely differently from how he responds to me. And I'm perfectly fine with doing as much of this having my brother set as many of the boundaries as he can while we still live together, because if that's like one of the missing pieces and it just required a different personality or a man's authority, his maybe it's just the tone of his voice, maybe it's just that he's taller, whatever it may be, if the dog listens to it better than he listens to me, I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that. And I still want him to obey me, obviously, too.
Sure.
So
Absolutely. Right.
I'm working
Right.
as hard as I can. But that's a suggestion that I'm happy to take and happy to do compromise on. Whereas e-collar training isn't necessarily something I would want to do. Now, the
Yeah.
difference between that and what Robert does is that no suggestion that he gives is ever flexible in any kind of scenario. It's
Yeah.
always that you are far too too like judgmental with your dog. You're far too
Right.
cautious and concerned that your dog could ever do any of the damage.
Yeah.
That you give the dog too much freedom and you don't give it any direction. And to your point earlier that you were saying, like he talks about oh what how does he describe it again? He talks about like constructive walks or something like that, or the way that he says it is that a walk with your dog should never be conditional. It should always be something that will fulfill their breed instinct. And so, whereas you would use like a leash or a halty for a dog like mine to have him focus and be more directional on the walk, like in your videos with Cooper,
Yeah.
Robert, what he suggested to me and what he's done in his videos, he just throws the leash and collar on the dog just to have something to control it for a little while.
Right.
And he lets the dog sniff the ground, chase little animals, do whatever the dog wants to do.
Right.
And that's considered like structure for the dog. That's considered its structure because it's getting to fulfill its base desires and instincts. And he told me that he doesn't even believe, well, he said that in the phone call, yeah, that he doesn't really believe in recall, that he just wants to make sure the dog knows that you exist and that you're there. Well, with my dog, it doesn't matter that I exist if there's another dog approaching him. He's going to be like, yeah, you exist, and I need to protect you from this other dog, or like whatever is going on in his mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the thing with the directional walks or the directional exercise, I can't remember exactly how he phrases it. Um, controlled exercise, or no, it's not
Was
that. I
it? Was
can't
it?
remember.
I think. Well, in the phone call, you said structured exercise.
Structured, yes, structured exercise. So the way that he defines structured exercise is allowing the dog to do whatever it was bred for that purpose. And somehow, even though we have all these various different kinds of breeds, somehow he boils it all down to like a herding drive or a
Yeah.
hunting
No.
drive. Like,
He's told me before that but pit bulls were bred to herd, and I'm like, where the fuck did you get this?
well, that's I mean, I've heard that. I've heard that other places too. Like I read that once that pit bulls were originally not bred for fighting because originally they were bred in the UK and in Ireland. And they were bred as like cattle dogs. So he might be right about that. I've read that before. But either way, to me personally, after having tried that, I know that it doesn't matter because
No.
whatever my dog was initially bred for when the breed came into existence, none of that matters if he doesn't obey me
Right.
in 2026. You know,
Right.
that's what I mean. So
What
so
what I,
like
what I just real quick, what I find
yeah.
ironic about it is because I look at it this way. Usually these problems lead, like on average, I'm not saying you're specifically because Theoden has been attacked, but in
Mhm,
general, I find that problems like this develop, especially leash reactivity, because because the owner doesn't do anything.
mhm.
And what's funny is his advice is to tell you to do nothing. And so it's like,
Yeah,
but that was what
exactly.
causes a problem to begin with. And you're telling them to keep going down that road of doing nothing. It's like,
I know.
I don't
I
I don't
know.
understand it. But like I said in the video I just did reviewing the phone call, like Goose is a bulldog.
Mhm.
Are you suggesting that the bulldogs were bred for bull baiting? Are you suggesting that she needs to engage in bull baiting to satisfy her genetics? Or if pit bulls were bred for fighting, are we suggesting that we need to get them into dog fighting to set? It doesn't make any fucking sense,
Yeah.
you know. And so this is where again, as I said in the video, that's one of the pieces of it where just the whole thing falls apart from that because it wouldn't logically follow, you know.
Mhm. Yeah, and I didn't know that when I began trying it. I mean, one I see somebody just asked like, "So Robert doesn't believe in having leadership over the dog?" No, he
He
doesn't.
says it, and this is why I tell you guys watching when you hear people use certain words, ask them to break it down for you. What the fuck do they mean when they say leadership, relationship, dominance, any of it, structure
Mhm.
even?
Mhm.
Because you'll hear Robert say he's leading the dog, but like Eden said, Robert really doesn't believe in leadership. So what the fuck does he mean when he says he's leading the dog?
Mm-mm.
Again, what does the word? Well, this is why I have a whole series on Patreon, Lessons in Leadership. I break down all the individual principles of what makes a well-rounded, competent leader, because it is a skill set. Leadership isn't just this one thing where I don't understand. But again, this is why these people out here, they pay lip service to these words, but I don't think they really understand what the fuck they're even saying.
Mhm.
Ask them to break it down. Every time you hear leadership, hey, what do you mean by that? Can you tell me what that is? Relationship. What is it? What do you mean by that? Because I've had more than one video breaking down what not having a good relationship, but having the right relationship. What is the dynamic of that relationship, right? The relationship you build with a friend is not the same kind of relationship you have with your boss. They're two
Mhm.
different relationship dynamics. So we have to be specific about what the fuck we're even talking about when we use these
Yeah.
words.
That's why I would get so um I wouldn't really know how to respond, and I would kind of get caught off guard when he kept asking me like, "Well, would you treat your best friend like this?" Well, no, because my best friend I can speak to and have a conversation with.
Right.
And
As a
also
human.
my best friend, he was acting like, "Okay, well, would you punish your best friend or would you allow your best friend to be, like, afraid of you?" Or, something like that. I can't remember the exact question he would ask me. And I would always respond with, "Well, no, because my best friend is a human and who can think for themselves, and they're not going to do something crazy that's just gonna get them or myself hurt
Right.
on a whim, like, that's not gonna happen." So
Right.
asking me, like, if I trust my dog with my life,
Right.
no,
Yeah.
of course I
No.
don't. "Oh, well, then he's not your best friend." I'm like,
Right.
"Okay,
Yeah. It's
well,
like,
I
oh
wouldn't
my god.
necessarily trust my best friend with my life either." Like, if I knew my best
Right.
friend was was, like, a reactive, aggressive, screaming person, but say I still loved him, say I was like, "Well, I love you anyways." I can overlook that in a person.
Yeah.
You can't really overlook that in a dog, because a person's not going to inherently get attacked if they're doing something wrong. Like,
Right.
if your best friend is an addict of something, say, you'll try your best to help them through that and to support them, but it's not going to ruin your friendship necessarily. It doesn't have to.
Yeah.
With a dog, it can ruin your relationship if you all over you and just become a reactive mess. So,
So actually,
anyways, yeah.
Eden, your signal cut out there for a second. You said your
Did it?
dog. Just repeat that last sentence you said there.
Yeah, I just said, can you hear me all right? Or
Yeah. Yeah. The
okay.
you just went black there for a second.
Okay, yeah,
Just go
I
ahead.
saw
Yeah.
that. I was like, I didn't know what happened, but yeah, you can um not necessarily do that with your dog. You can't just allow your dog to make however many mistakes, because your dog will end up getting hurt.
Yeah.
Not so
Yeah.
much the other
Right.
person, but yeah.
Exactly. Our dogs aren't capable of making choices the way a grown human can, because they get a
Mhm,
grown. Like what we bring dogs into our human world. They don't understand our human world,
mhm.
and they don't have agency like a grown human does. We are responsible for them. They're not responsible for us. For me to just
Yeah.
let my dog engage with the world however it wants, especially as I've said before, most dogs in the West, since they don't receive lessons from nature that say street dogs do, they
Mhm.
see the world in a very different way than dogs who grow up on the streets and understand that the world is a dangerous place.
Exactly.
And our dogs don't see it that way. They see the
Mhm.
world as prey, and you're just holding them back. They want to. They're the predator towards everything, right? And this
Yeah.
is the really the root of the issue.
Mhm.
Um, and we have to provide the danger for them so that they understand, there's limitations to things. And there was something I was going to say, and now what was I going to say? God damn it. I hate it when it's on the tip of your brain and you forget. And maybe
That
one of the
happens.
comments will remind me here. Hold on one second. I think one of the comments would. Oh, was it the best friend thing? Oh, yeah, Robert, if you're watching, would you let your best friend become severely overweight like Monty is right now? Monty's fat as fuck. Like, why is Monty so big? Why would you let your best friend gain so much weight? Shouldn't you be walking your best friend every day like you should be, and then live streaming it like you promised you would? Say, hey, grown men, when they say they're do something, they're gonna do it. They actually do it. You said in the debate that you were gonna do live streams with Monty. You never did it. You're going to post all these thousands of videos of work that you allegedly have. You never did it. Said I was going to get access to the now defunct Facebook group. Never gave it. It's not how real men operate in my book. That's
Yeah, I don't know. I can't answer for Robert on that end, because like a best friend doesn't necessarily, when you're talking about it in human terms, a best friend doesn't mean somebody that you can control. I don't have any control over my best friend.
no.
But with a dog, if you don't have any control whatsoever over your dog is gonna end up dead. That's just the reality. Like, whether it's a terrible death, or like gets hit by a car, or it drank something bad and it got poisoned, that's
Right.
just what's going to happen. That's what animal husbandry is. You
Right.
have some level of control. That's why we leave
Yes.
horses in a stable. It's why
Right.
you don't allow cats to constantly roam outside, because they'll go out in the woods and become feral again. Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
it just, you have to have some form of control. And
Right.
so yeah, that question it was annoying me, because how do you even quantify that? My dog is my dog best friend, which is nothing like my human best friend. So
No.
that
Right.
doesn't
Yeah.
make him any less valuable to me. My
No.
dog is still, I love him. He's the only dog that I've ever been quite as close to, because I've just spent so much time with him,
Hmm.
working with him. And
Yeah.
I love his personality. He's a really good dog. He just
Mm.
has this one area that
Sure.
that I don't love, and that he doesn't love either. He doesn't
Yeah.
love being reactive.
No.
It's
It
not good
stresses
for
him.
him. But
He stressed the fuck out. Yeah. It's not good for his psyche or his well being. But guys, my screen's a little fucked up, so I can't read. There are parts of the comments I can't read. I appreciate everybody joining and commenting, by the way. Thank you. Usually, as I've said, when I have these conversations, I often don't really engage with the comments. We may take some time here and there to respond, but thank you everybody for sharing your points of view and everything. But I can't see everything
in
here.
case you couldn't see it, it
Yeah, I
looks
can't
like
see it.
Alexandra said also, you're not legally responsible for your best friend,
No,
which
you're
is
not.
true.
You're not legally responsible for your best friend.
You're not going to
Exactly.
get
And
sued if your best friend bites
right.
somebody. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
And that's a different relationship dynamic. There's a different what nobody really talks about. And again, this is why I say I'm not a dog trainer. I'm not a behaviorist. I teach social dynamics, right? Because this hierarchy is the most important thing. But what people don't understand is power dynamics. And when you have a hierarchy, there are clear power dynamics. And if we don't recognize these things, then how can we truly claim we understand anything about relationships or how to have a good one if we don't understand power dynamics? Because your dog is not your equal. You're not equal to a child. I'm not equal to another person or another man, or like, well, none of us are equal. We're equal under the law, allegedly, even though that could be argued, but um, none of us are equal in terms of it's just not reality. My
Yeah.
dog is not a human. I'm not a dog. We're not equal. I'm responsible for my dog. My dog operates on the cognitive level of like a 3 or 4 year old. And so the power dynamic there, you're right. No, that's a
No.
bullshit study. Right. Fuck Cambridge. Yeah, um,
Well,
but the power
actually, that's
dynamic,
that's because your dog is trained, Kevin. and her
Right,
mind
right.
is more suppressed.
Yes, yes. Yeah, this whole suppression conversation just pisses me off. It's like it's so ridiculous. Oh, hey, if you go to work, and you punch your coworker and they fire you, oh, you suppressed my behavior. It's like, okay, sure, okay, right.
Why would they
But
control you like that?
right, how dare
That's
they?
so
Yeah.
cool.
How dare there be a negative consequence? That's like,
Yeah.
but the relationship you build with your dog, there's a power dynamic, right?
Mhm.
You are the authority figure to your dog.
Yeah.
So you by essence of that, you have, or you should have, more power than your dog, right? Your dog
Mhm.
looks up to you. You lead your dog. And so this whole be your dog's best friend, there's no these people never break down, okay, what does that mean? What is the relationship dynamic? What is the power dynamic? What is this? What does any of this even mean? What is the application of this? It's like this
Yeah.
trust method. What is the application of this? You're basically just telling people to be calm and do nothing. Well, how is that trusting your dog?
Yeah.
And as I've said, trust is built. You can't just trust. But what's ironic about it is he's shaming you for not trusting your dog. But if you don't have free will, how can he be mad at you for not trusting your dog if you have no free will?
Exactly.
You can't control it anyway.
I know. And all of our whole selves are dictated by our past, and I've only had bad experiences in the past with other dogs,
Right.
so
Exactly.
is it
Yeah.
really my fault? But
No.
no,
Right. Right.
yeah.
But I think, you were going down the list
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
things that he told you to do,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. So, yeah, that was kind of pertaining to the first couple pieces of advice that he gave me, was blindfolding the dog and putting him with another dog, which I never truly fully did. I did try blindfolding him, but I never put him with another unknown dog.
Yeah.
I couldn't risk that. So okay, the second one was holding your dog between your legs as another dog approaches, and the fundamentals for that would be staying silent, like not saying anything to the dog, but petting him and like
Yeah.
stroking him as
No.
to kind of calm him down and let him know, hey,
Uh,
I'm calm, you're calm. If this other dog is approaching, you don't need to bark, you don't need to do anything, just like stroking him gently, kind of,
but I thought that was inducements. What are we talking about, Rob? You said food and affection are inducements. What the fuck are we
yeah,
talking about here?
I
Man, you're
forgot
inducing
about
the
that
fuck out of
one.
the dog. Oh my god.
Hey, it's
Anyway,
not his
anyways.
fault, Kevin. Come on.
Yeah.
He didn't have the free
You're
will
right.
to
I
say
know,
that.
I know I know it's all unconscious, it's
Mhm.
the id and the super ego, I can't we can't blame him for anything, it's what do we do? It's but anyway,
Yeah,
go ahead.
yeah. Okay, well, yeah. So besides that, another thing that he had me do, was a somatic reset.
Yeah, I
He
keep
he
seeing
he
this, and
terms it.
I don't know if I've ever heard of, like, what is a somatic reset?
So I'll explain it to you for how he explained it to me, which he denied kind of in the phone call, but the way he explained it to me was that a somatic reset is where you take your dog out and for a period of up to a few hours, you exercise your dog like crazy and you do structured exercise. And what he means by structured exercise is you do a breed specific exercise. So, because a pit bull, according to him and according to some historians, a pit bull was bred for like kind of the same reason as a bulldog, like baiting cows and
Yeah.
herding cattle, things like that. They were working dogs at one point. And so, because their breed specific work would be to herd, what you would do is you have one of two options. And now he says now that there were more options, there were multiple options, but for me, he only ever told me of two options because I told him the kind of play that I already did with my dog, and he told me all of that was wrong and that I had been just basically forcing my dog to enjoy the type of play that we did but that wasn't the real type of play that my dog required. So the only two options he ever gave me or ever told me to try were the RC car play and the flirt
Yeah.
pole play.
Those are the two
So
famous ones. Robert's
Mhm.
Robert, the RC car, flirt pole guy. Oh, you got to get him on the flirt pole. Yeah, have him chase the
Yeah,
RC car.
all the time.
They got to
All the
blow out
time.
the lines. You got to blow out the lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and so for the flirt pole, it's not how you would usually play with a flirt pole. What he wanted me to do was buy a rabbit pelt and buy some kind of a animal musk and put it on the rabbit pelt and like rub it in really well until it smells like another animal. Like
Okay.
even even buying he suggested buying urine, like, they sell
Oh.
for hunters and things like that,
Yeah, like
and
deer
you
urine or
rub
something.
it
Yeah.
you rub it into the pelt. Like, they even sell at some feed stores and hunting stores, they'll sell um, female urine, like, from a female, deer that's in heat, and he suggested buying that and rubbing it on a rabbit pelt, and I was hearing this on the phone, and I'm like, "Oh, okay." Like, "Alright,
You
guess I could try that."
connection interrupted, but I don't think we missed anything of what you said there. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I think because you were talking about, he said use the female deer urine who's in heat,
Yeah.
put it on the pellet, and you're
Yeah,
like, okay, go ahead.
I don't know what's happening, but I can't hear you at all, Kevin.
You can't hear me?
Uh-uh. Sorry.
No, you're good. Let me see. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? No.
No, I can't hear anything. Sorry.
What the fuck happened here? Nothing. Guys, could you hear me?
I still can't hear you. I don't know if anybody can hear me. Is my sound
I
coming?
can hear you. I can hear you.
You can hear me? Okay.
You can, Hans, you can't hear me?
Can't hear you, Kevin.
Okay.
Sounds there, but very low from you, Kevin. Barely.
I'll restart. Let me restart.
Okay.